Right, welcome to the introduction video of advanced genetics. Video is a bit overdue, but I've been a bit busy, so here it goes. I'm sure you've seen this file, this course info file. The references include, this book, Principles of Genetics. This is the 6th edition. I've got a few other books, the 5th edition as well. So if you don't have any books and if you want to borrow, you're welcome to let me know. I've also got Principles of Genetics, 6th edition. This number 2, this Twyman on advanced molecular biology. I've given you this chapter on mutations, and it's the 3140-1. So this course will revolve around these topics. We're gonna look at gene mutations, and of course DNA repair, and then a little bit of experiments in terms of to differentiate between physiological adaptation, to determine whether mutations occur by physiological adaptation or by spontaneous mutation. We're looking at some examples. We're looking at an experiment where they show that X-rays actually cause mutations, and that's the CLV chromosome experiment. There are several other experiments, and then we'll finishing on mutations. We're going to jump into DNA repair. We're looking at DNA repair, different repair systems. I'll get into that later, and then the other topic include recombination and transposition, the mechanisms, the enzymes involved, and then we will go into non-Mendelian inheritance. Here, I think what's important for you to understand here is for you to really look back at what you have studied and really understand what is Mendelian, and then, because in order to know what's Mendelian, what's non-Mendelian, you have to really understand what is Mendelian genetics. So if you look at textbooks, right? If you look at textbooks, you'll find that you have Mendelian inheritance, and then you have extensions to Mendelian, and then you'll have non-Mendelian inheritance. So we'll have a look at that. And finally, we are going into looking into the concepts of the gene. What is a gene? As I mentioned in the first lecture, at the end of the day, after 3 years of doing genetics, we're still asking that question: what defines a gene? It's even more complicated now, because the more we know about the gene, earlier definitions and has been the line that differentiates between what is a gene and what is the DNA, that becomes very blurred at the moment. So, but you as students of genetics, you need to understand the concepts, the historical concepts, and what people are talking about now. All right. As I mentioned, it follows closely Bruker's genetics analysis and principles. There are questions. This book is quite good. It's written quite easily, and there are questions for you to practice. And I sometimes take exam questions from here as well. The chapter on evolution of concepts of the gene, it used to be one full chapter in Principles of Genetics. However, that chapter has been taken off. So what I've done is I've actually given you the chapter for your reference. Now, if I bring you to the spectrum page, I'll open a spectrum page. Where's my keyboard? I have to make way for my keyboard to do this. All right, I'll just adjust this. Okay, so this is where the course is. So these are some revision that I would like. We will do it perhaps later in your practical section. I've arranged the courses: mutations and repair, recombination, non-Mendelian inheritance, So here are some feedback that you'll be most of these activities inside here are open and closed at specific times, so you have to be alert. I have to give marks on that to make sure that you you do your part. So for example, response required, you just need to respond, and I'm not marking your response, I'm just marking based on whether you do your response or not. So this is a quiz. I think this is for Monday 7th October, this is for 9th October, you know, so they are all, and most of this, well, if it's a quiz, then definitely there's an element of marks involved, right? So you make sure you do all of them. This is the paper that I'm talking about. This is the chapter from 14 from Principles of Genetics that I've included. We'll be following this closely when we get there. All right. Okay, so I think the in this section, the resources for practical student assignments, they are provided to you as references. If necessary, then I will give a particular assignment, maybe, you know, write a summary of a particular paper, you know, but that will be given in due course. All right. As usual, if you have any problems, you need to let me know, and I can be contacted by handphone or email or in class or through Spectrum itself. Okay, right. So I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.